This is a great clip here. So we've done some kind of heavy and dark subjects, but this I love. This is the House Oversight and Reform Committee. They had a hearing on, quote, the evolution of anti-democratic extremist groups and the ongoing threat to democracy. This was supposed to be, it was designed to be, of course, an opportunity to defame conservatives, but Representative Nancy Mace flipped the script. Now, I am no Nancy Mace fan, to put it mildly. She's one of the Republicans who signed on for this so-called Respect Marriage Act, and so I'm not a fan of hers. She's generally a left-leaning Republican who goes along with the Democrats' agenda on so many issues. But credit where it's due, she shined in this moment. This was a great moment. This was her greatest moment against one of the most vile and disgusting trans activists in the country. This is because they got a bunch of activists that they brought in. And one of them is Alejandra Caraballo, who's a male who identifies as a female and is an absolute soulless ghoul of a human being. Just an awful, awful person. Now, of course, that describes all trans activists. I mean, all trans activists are reprehensible goblins. They are. I mean, these are the most vicious, reprehensible people in the political sphere, period. Every single one without exception. But this one in particular. So let's watch as this kind of a long clip, and we'll kind of follow along. And we start by Nancy Mace baiting the trap. So here we go.
Is rhetoric on social media a problem and a threat to our democracy, Mr. Ward?
Yes, absolutely.
Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
Ms. Caraballo?
Yes.
Ms. Nomani?
Yes.
Ms. Tyler?
Yes.
Yes.
Another question I have, do you believe that rhetoric targeting officials with violence for carrying out their constitutional duties is a threat to democracy, Mr. Ward? Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Only a few weeks after the attempted attack on a Supreme Court justice on June 25th, one of the witnesses, Alejandra Caraballo, tweeted out the following in response to a decision on abortion overturning Roe v. Wade, and I'll quote directly from the tweet. "The 6 justices who overturned Roe should never know peace again. It is our civic duty to accost them every time they're in public. They are pariahs. Since women don't have their rights, these justices should never have a peaceful moment in public again." I know something about being accosted. The night of January 5th, I was physically accosted on the streets of DC in Navy Yard by a constituent of mine. I fervently blamed rhetoric on social media, rhetoric at public events, for being physically accosted. I carry a gun everywhere I go when I am in my district and I'm at home, because I know personally that rhetoric has consequences. I've had my car keyed. I've had my house spray painted. I had someone trespass in my house as recently as August. I've been doxxed on social media about where I live. And I've had to add to security everywhere I go. Often, because I can't afford it, I have to carry my own firearm wherever I go. And Alejandra Caraballo also recently tweeted on November 19th, not even a month ago, that the Supreme Court, vested with the judicial power of the United States by our Constitution, stated they are not a legitimate court issuing decisions. And also the Supreme Court is an organ of the far right. So my last question today of Ms. Caraballo, do you stand by these comments, this kind of rhetoric on social media? And do you believe it's a threat to democracy?
Thank you, Representative, for the opportunity to clarify and provide context to my tweets.
I have a question, is it yes or no? Do you believe your rhetoric is a threat to democracy when you're calling to accost a branch of government, the Supreme Court?
I don't believe that's a correct characterization
What
of
you
my
tweeted,
statements.
Did you not tweet that? That you thought that the Supreme Court justices should be accosted?
What I'm saying is that
yes
that
or
is
no?
not an accurate characterization of my statements.
That's great. And what makes it great, too, is that we've got Caraballo saying that's an unfair characterization of my statements. Meanwhile, his statements are right behind her, right there. You can see it. You said you wanted a cost. I didn't say that. That's not what I said. It's right there. Profiling, surveillance, data harvesting, there are a lot of things I don't like about tech giants, but there's only so much I can do about it. I don't have $44 billion to go buying up Twitter. I don't know about you. The good news is that you don't have to be a billionaire to take a stand. For less than $7 a month, you can join me and fight back against big tech by using ExpressVPN. Big tech companies, they make their money by tracking your online activity, your searches, your video history, everything you click on. They sell that data to advertisers who target you. ExpressVPN helps you anonymize much of your online presence by hiding your IP address so they can't match any activity back to you. I use ExpressVPN on all my devices to make it much more difficult for big tech companies to exploit my data for their own profits. It's incredibly easy to use. I just tap one button on my phone or my computer and I'm free to roam the internet, free from big tech's prying eyes. If you don't like big tech tracking you and selling your personal data for profit, you can fight back by using ExpressVPN. Visit expressvpn.com/Matt Walsh Show right now and get 3 extra months of ExpressVPN for free. That's expressvpn.com/Matt Walsh Show. expressvpn.com/Matt Walsh Show. Now, I thought this is a beautiful moment because it exposes the, of course, the hypocrisy and the double standards and everything. But more than that, it just exposes the hollowness of what these people say. And that's really the value. Because pointing out double standards, it only goes so far. I get that. The value in doing it is that it demonstrates that what these people say is it's totally hollow. Nothing that they say means anything. It doesn't mean anything. All they care about is themselves. They are utterly consumed, and this is the case of leftist activists in general, in particular trans activists. They are just totally consumed by their own ego. It's the only thing they care about. That's it. And so they're going, and they want all of society to revolve around them and to affirm everything they believe about themselves and to participate in whatever delusional, charade that they demand. And they're just going to say whatever they feel like they need to say to advance that agenda. It doesn't mean anything. There are no principles here. there are no underlying principles. I wish that was the case. You know, the people that talk about when you say make these statements, it's a threat to democracy and all this, like. And we used to call these people, the left, they're snowflakes and they're oversensitive. And there's still people on the right who say that, but that was never the case. I wish it was that. I wish it was just that. I wish it was the problem with people on the left is that, or someone like Caraballo, the problem with these people is that they're overly sensitive and, they take words too seriously and, and they have this almost like Victorian prudishness when it comes to language. I wish that was the case. I know people who are actually overly sensitive. And it could be a bad thing. It could be a flaw. But it does emanate from, it's a sensitivity. Like you care about people. That's what it means if you're actually sensitive. It means you're a sensitive and caring person. It's not bad to be a sensitive and caring person. I'm not, but it's not bad to be that. And yeah, it can go a little bit too far sometimes and all of that. But that's not the issue here. This is not about sensitivity. This is not about they want civility in language. Now, the real answer that Caraballo is not going to give and didn't give there is that, well, no, it's okay to call for accosting Supreme Court justice because they deserve to die. Like he wants them dead. That's it. Actually wants them dead. These people, they would be happy if someone actually made it into Brett Kavanaugh's house, the guy who came to kill Brett, if he actually made it into the house and murdered him and his whole family, they would be happy. They would be ecstatic. So that's the answer. They deserve to die. Anyone who disagrees with them deserves to die. That is their actual belief. And that'll do it for us for this portion of the show. As we move over to the members block, hope to see you there. If not, talk to you tomorrow. Godspeed.